we are here to know more about this story of success in details with Ahmed Gabr. Ahmed, thank you very much for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me here for the second time, actually.
Yeah,
So,
and because from the 4th to the 6th of June, there was another story and another world record. You have, I think now it's a habit. Or a hobby, or what?
If you remember from my first meeting, from my first interview here, so I told you, it's a choice to open the door, So I guess, like creativity now started to work, with all Egyptian mentalities, So we heard about like the biggest plate of koshari and. A few days ago, like the longest table.
Charity table or Ma'idat Rahman in Alexandria.
Exactly, yeah. This is the second one. The third one, like actually during my time as well, like Wala Hafiz, so he broke the longest.
Wala Wa'il Hafiz.
Wala Hafiz, exactly.
Yeah.
He broke the longest scuba
time
dive,
underwater.
Longest time underwater, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
And he was honored by General Sidqi Subhi, the Minister of Defense. Also he was honored also by the Governor of Alexandria, Mr. Hani al-Misiri.
Yes.
But let's speak in details about the 4th and from the 4th to the 6th of June. What happened? You have the mic.
Well, after I broke the first record, of the deepest scuba dive, so I had the idea, like to encourage, like especially we have like a big traffic in the Red Sea here, so I thought about having another record to increase the awareness and protect the ecosystem, so I thought about gathering a lot of divers to clean the bottom of the sea.
So, of the sea, the Red Sea?
Well, in general, it's a message. It's gonna start from the Red Sea.
This event took place in the Red Sea?
It took place in the Red Sea, exactly.
Yeah.
So the first step I took as usual, so I just I applied for the record. I sent Guinness World Record as an application. They did accept the application, and then they sent me the guidelines as well. So according to the guideline, we started to act, so with a target to break the record of 300 divers, which is held by Abu Dhabi government. I was targeting 400 divers. Showed up at the jetty on that day, 980 divers. 900
again.
Yeah, 980 divers. Counted 614 divers, the people who got licensed with them.
So all those were here in one of the Red Sea resorts of Egypt.
That's right.
And I think it included also the Minister of Tourism.
Well, I went to 2 destinations first. Like to sponsor my event. Like we needed fund at the end of the day, So the first thing, we went to the National Bank of Egypt, So this is the first destination, and then of course, like the second part, which is like should be under sponsorship by the government, So the best place is actually the Minister of
Before
Tourism.
going into the details of the days and of what you've done with the hundreds of divers you had, let's speak first honestly about any obstacles on the way. Bureaucracy played a role, trying to convince the government or even the divers to come and to accomplish this mission. What were the obstacles on the way?
Well, it's kind of routine or like bureaucracy, so I didn't suffer from that much, like the
Thank
first
God.
thing, like the first destination, the first person I asked to sponsor my event, the minister himself, so the minister, Mr. Khalid Rami. I went to him, and he's a diver, with a very short talk with him, so he decided to be one of the divers as well, so to be one of the participants, so he came, so and then he actually was part of the event. It was impressive, actually, that day.
Having the minister as part of the event, it would pave the way and eliminate many obstacles on the way.
Even the bureaucracy, like I suffered from my first record, so I did not actually encounter the same problem again. Like just having the power or the head of the Ministry of Tourism, so with me, so like everything was just passing, like smoothly.
4, 5, 6 June.
That was the plan, So that was the plan, So actually,
this was my question. The schedule was?
Well, the schedule was the 4th, you know, so like the 4th, I mean, like gathering the people, but that wasn't very effective. I mean, like the record suspense, it will be the same. I mean, like till the last day, you know, so 4th, it will be like the gathering, briefing, you know, so that didn't work actually because we had a lot of people, they were leaving from Cairo and they were coming from so many different destinations, you know, like they arrived to Hurghada very late at night or like in different times, you know, like to gather all of them, you know, at the same time, at the same place, you know, it was kind of impossible. So we did not do that, so we skipped the 4th, but at the same time with the social media, so we started like to ask.
If you wanna
yeah, this is my first record
those?
actually.
Yeah.
This is from my first record, you know.
Okay.
Like, yeah, this is my first. This is during my first record, all of it.
Robbie, those photos are from the first record of Ahmed.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Right. That's right. So then we started to where did I stop at?
Starting from gathering
yeah. So
people
the social media played like a big role here, you know, like so we had to tell people like we need like to have all divers to be present, you know, like it's 6 a.m. you know at the jetty, you know, like where we had the place, you know, so 6 a.m. you know, so I did not expect anyone at 6, you know, so my plan is like to call divers to start at 6. You know, exactly. This is the cleanup dive. This is from the day. So at 6 a.m. you know, so this is where I started to call. I mean, like expecting to be the first diver in the water at 8 a.m. 6:30. The record was already broken. You know, at 6:30. I mean, like like unexpected number of people. It caused like a little bit of mess, you know. So, but it was under control after, you know. So the record happened in the first 25 minutes, you know. So we broke already the record, and we're just like having extras. 2 hours. We stopped having we stopped the record.
All what you're talking about happened the very first day.
Yeah, it's one day only.
Okay.
You know, so it's only one day, you know. So
in the very first hour, I should say.
First half an hour. You can
half
say
an hour.
Yes.
Whenever you are preparing for such a huge event, you should have security measures and safety measures because whenever you are responsible for hundreds of people who came for a very exhausting mission and a noble one in the same time, how was it? How did it go this way?
Well, we had different plans. I mean, like the first is like medical security or medical plan. You know, so we called like ambulance. You know, like as well. You know, like the diving expert. It wasn't a deep dive anyway. It was only like maximum depth was 4 meters. You know, so the whole idea behind it's not the dive itself, it's the message behind the dive.
Sure.
And this is what we wanted to convey. You know, at that time, people were very responsible. You know, like. Majority, you know, so...
How many nationalities we had?
Well, we had a lot of nationalities. We had, I had Egyptian, the majority, you know, so I had people from England. They came specifically for that. I had German people. I had Russians. I have people from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Jordan, you know, so... I don't want Americans, you know, so
from all over the world.
From all over the world, almost, yes. So
after achieving this, I'd like to know your feelings and about gathering with people after doing that, and about planning for another thing to do. How was it?
Well, it was an achievement. I mean, like having the pleasure of a record, you know, it's a pleasure of a record, especially when you get the Guinness World Record certificate from the adjudicator, which is Miss Shada, you know, so she was present at that day, you know, so she gave us, it was kind of happiness, you know, like, I mean, like 2 days before I was counting the divers, you know, because I was targeting, I mean, like 301 is already a record, you know, so I mean, like, but the target to have 400, that was kind of hard for me, you know, so I was trying, like, to figure out, I mean, like, okay, I have 100 friends, you know, like I have 100, you know, like people registered on the internet, you know, so I have...
All the time you're raising the bar.
I'm just like, yeah, exactly, and then I'm counting, I'm expecting like people not to show up, you know. Fortunately, everyone showed up and more, even, you know, it was like a word of mouth, like spread, like...
Totally unexpected to go this way. but it went this way, and it was such an achievement. But this is also to raise the bar for the coming achievement. And for any plans to come, you want to have it with the same success and maybe more. What is your coming step forward?
Well, it's why do you climb the mountain? Because there is a mountain always, you know, so there is always a mountain to climb, you know. So the record man, there is a big difference. I mean, like I was having a talk before, I mean, like the difference between the record man and the record breaker, you know. So record man being is like part, I mean, like it's having like, it's like a lifestyle, it's a complete lifestyle, you know. So I'm not planning another record very soon, you know. I think I'm going to take a deep breath, you know. So, but I'm going to have a project actually, you know. It's gonna be for Egypt, you know. It's related to monument and the archaeology, you know. So in the Mediterranean.
This is another story.
This is a complete different story. I'm still studying the idea first before I start to announce that, but that will be very soon, anyways.
Inshallah. Regarding your team, I don't think that you are working on your own. You should have a...
I have a big team, actually.
Let's speak a little bit about them. They deserve, I think.
Of course. I mean, like I had people who logistical team, you know, so they helped me a lot, you know. So I had people who were helping me as well with Diver, like it's an entity. It's like the Diving and Rescue Association in the Red Sea. They were actually like big help. I had TDI, SDI Middle East, and with the head of Dr. Ahmed Kamal, you know, so they were sponsoring the event. It's an international organization, you know, so the owner of the regional office here, you know, so Dr. Ahmed, and he's actually my mentor. He was helping me in my first record as well, you know, so he continued with me for the second record. Of course, Ministry of Tourism.
I mean, Ahmed, I mean, are you used to have a brainstorming session or a think tank of your own to think about what you're going to do, or the idea should be yours? I
don't think I did the record this time myself, you know. I think the whole 980 divers and counted 614 divers who showed up that day, they made the record, you know, so it's actually hats off, you know, for all of them, you know, so.
I'm speaking about your coming.
My coming plans.
Yeah,
you know,
it should be your own idea, and then you would take the pieces of advice, or at least to studying, as you were saying, studying the coming event, which is going to be something totally different than the previous ones. You are going to do things on your own first, or you are going to do it in cooperation with all your team? In cooperation
with my team, and then my team this time it will be kind of different, you know, so they are actually the...
I mean, have you started already?
I started studying. You know, I started studying, you know, so I believe in study, you know, in general, you know, so I started studying the idea, you know, so like selecting the team. I mean, like each record or each project, you know, got...
How much time should it take, in your opinion? Roughly, of course.
The common project for myself, you know, it might be lifetime, you know, so it might be a lifetime. Yeah.
I think diving have taught you a lot.
It's actually, we have like a complete sunk city, you know, in Alexandria, in Abu Qir, you know, so so I guess there is actually people, they are coming campaigns, actually coming French campaign, English campaign, Italian campaign, they are coming specifically for that reason. You know, I walked there with even Mr. Muhammad, you know, so Mr. Muhammad Rabia, you know, so, and then we were actually there together, and these people, they showed up 6 months ago, you know, so, and they're gonna be here for 20 more years, you know, so, and this is only the explored part, you know, like this is not everything still, you know, so, I guess...
you cannot go far from the sea. If it's not the Red Sea, it's going to be the Mediterranean. I mean, this is your life.
Well, there is another record, you know, is for charity, you know, so I'm not gonna do it I'm gonna be behind the scene. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be behind the scene, you know. I'm not gonna show up exactly in that record, you know, so, but I'm going to help heart and soul in that record, you know, so.
I think your life became different after...
357 hospital.
Yeah, okay. Kids, whenever it comes to 2015 or 2014, 2015, I think your life became different, or there some changes which took place, or Ahmed Gabr of today is the same Ahmed Gabr of 5 years ago.
Well, it's life is a whole process, you know. So I mean, like with every tiny detail like goes in your life, you know. So it made you who you are right now, you know. So even like with your thoughts, you know. So with your with the happiness, with the mistakes you did, you know. So
You know, Ahmed, why I'm asking this question, whenever I'm speaking with a sports person and with someone who, whenever he has a target or an idea and he is working all the time on achieving it, and there should be a lifestyle, a way to live, certain behavior, certain attitudes. I'd like you to give some steps for those who are working on something, but I mean, from time to time they would feel some desperate moments, some kind of frustrations. Sometimes they would say, no, I'm not going to be able to do it. How have you dealt with such moments? Of course, you have been through such moments. You are a human being after all.
yeah.
So how have you dealt with it?
Well, I mean, like as I told you, I mean, like record is a lifestyle in general, you know. Like as a record man, you know, so it's a complete lifestyle, you know. So the way the problem was never the problem is always the problem is how we look at the problem. You know, this is the thing, you know. So again, self-evaluation is very important, you know. Self-evaluation, as I told you before, you know, in previous interview, you know, so there's a huge difference between who you are and who you think you are. You know, I think from here you should start. I mean, like being normal, psychologically normal. You have the gut, you know, like to encounter yourself, you know, so with your own problem, with your own personal problem. And this is number one to solve, you know, like problem recognition accordingly, you know, so you're going to put solutions, you know, so, and the alternative of the solution, and then the alternative of the alternatives, which is logic. So, I mean, like, plus, I'm kind of, as well, like socially, you know, so not very active socially, you know, so I guess people right now, you know, like, it's like victims of the social pressures, you know, like...
This was another question. Every time I interview a professional in any sports or game, I would ask about his or her social life.
Okay.
And in a specific, I interviewed Rami Ashour so many times, you know, the very eminent squash player. And also Omnaya Abdelawi or Anim El-Walili, those very famous names in the world of squash. Whenever it comes to squash, you are talking about from 10 to 12 championships all over the world. I mean, you can be in India today and tomorrow in England or in France or whatever. So where is your social life? I mean, have you thought even for a moment, why I'm doing this to myself and I'm focusing on one thing and I'm forgetting all about being with friends or with family, with relatives, with whatever? Or if time went back, you are going to have the same choices?
Well, this is kind of tricky question actually, you know, so because I totally believe like we have three. The balance of the character in general, we have three images, you know, in your personality, you know. So in the balance between these three images, you know, so it's actually the character balance or the psychological balance, which is the self-image. This is number one, which is actually no one knows about it except yourself, you know. So you can just encounter your fact and your true, I mean, like your real self, you know. So. And the social image, this is how people look at you, you know, so I mean like funny, you know, not funny, you know, like smart, not smart, you know, these kind of things, you know. So, and then the third image, which is the ideal image, you know, so the balance between the three images, you know, is actually the personal balance, you know. So if you actually, there is a big gap between these three images, you know, so I think you will need a professional help. So who you actually are is how people look at you. Very close to how you want to be, you know, so...
it's your choice after all.
It's your choice. Life is about choices you make, you know, so in general, you know, so I mean like having or like being under like kind of classical obligation or like social obligation, that will take you completely off this kind of psychological balance. Yes, you can definitely interact with people. Yes, you can just be with, you can have your social life circle, but the beauty of it is that every one of this kind of social circle got his own Lifestyle, fingerprint, you know, so even yourself, you know, so you have a fingerprint. I mean, like you're the only, you're very unique. You know, every one of us is very unique. I mean, like,
yeah. Let's return back a little bit to your coming project and to the studying period you are in right now. Are you doing this studying period via reading about this project or via consulting with the specialists, or this is another step or another stage which you are going to enter later on, not now?
Well, the thing is that of course I'm going to study. This is number one. I read about it, you know, so I'm reading. I read actually about it a long time ago, you know, so this is, it was one of my dreams, you know, like to start in such a thing. I'm consulting the specialist in that. Actually taking a short course with them, you know, like to start to understand exactly.
Here in Egypt or outside?
It's in Egypt, in Alexandria.
Okay.
Exactly. You know, so and then from here I'm going to start launching.
In a special scientific center or in the university?
In a special scientific center.
Okay.
Yeah, in the underwater sunk monument, you know, so yeah.
Interesting? Seems interesting?
I love history.
Okay, great. But I mean, on the ground, whenever you are touching this on the ground, you found it with the same way, or just reading about it?
Yeah,
it's
something new, you know. So it's something new. It's something new for me, you know. So I'm interested in, you know, so to get closer to such a thing. I mean, like you approach first, and then you start evaluating, and then you start acting after.
Ahmed, every time I interview, I think I'm going to know more, and I'm going to be amazed with another step forward or another achievement or another record. And I hope that tomorrow is going to be another day, and we are going to be with you minute by minute, I should say, to witness with you the fulfillment of or the achievement of the new project you have. So let's be there. And let's live it with you, not only with harvesting the fruitful results of your studying and of your work. Promise?
I promise that, you know, so actually part of the plan, you know, so I agreed with Nile TV channel.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Ahmed,
yes.
happy Ramadan.
Happy Ramadan to you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, and it's a promise I had now on air. So see you on Nile TV International again and again in other episodes of Score Sheet.
Inshallah. Thank you very much.
After the short break, I'm going to return back with more in Score Sheet. Stay tuned only on Nile TV International.